Hi, and welcome to Bible Bites. Today we're going to start a mini-series on Jesus' I am statements. You may have heard these before. Jesus has 7 different places in Scripture where he says, I am, and then you just fill in the blank. So we're going to start today with looking at what Jesus meant when he said, I am the bread of life. Thanks for joining me. So the context here, because this is important, the crowd that was following him around in this passage, this is in John chapter 6, they were asking him like, oh, do a sign so we know that you're like who you say you are. Because, we got manna from heaven in the olden days, and that was a sign from God. So do something. And that was kind of what they were waiting for. They wanted Jesus to do a sign. And that's when he says, I am the bread of life. So let's read in John. We're going to read verses 32 through 35. Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, it was not Moses who gave you bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. They said to him, Sir, give us this bread always. Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. So, that's where he says that I am statement. So we're going to look at, in each of these short mini-series, we're going to look at the statement, we're going to look at the significance, and then the study, how we can apply it to our lives. Because that is really important. James tells us that don't be hearers of the word only, be doers also. So we're going to look at those 3 things for each of Jesus's I am statements. First, so the statement Jesus makes here is that he's the bread of life. This is pretty cool. It's the first statement that he makes, and he's comparing it to the manna that the Israelites received when they were in the wilderness. But here he's not referring to a physical bread like manna was that fed the Israelites for 40 years. He's talking about satisfying that spiritual hunger. So that's his statement there. So the significance in this is really cool. Why does it matter though if it's satisfying a spiritual hunger? He's claiming to be the solution for that deep spiritual nourishment that every human soul longs for. If you know Jesus, you know that he satisfies that spiritual void in your life. When we go out and do spiritual interest surveys on campus or just anywhere, but I've done a lot with college students over the years, they love spiritual things. If you ask them, we'll ask them, what do you think of spirituality on a scale from 1 being not so important, 10 being important. Usually it's a 9 or higher. There is a longing to fill that spiritual need. So Jesus says, I am the bread of life. He means it. He's going to satisfy whoever believes in him, and they're never going to have that kind of hunger in their soul again. And if you want another example of this, he tells the woman at the well this with the thirst, right? He says, you will never thirst again in John chapter 4. That's another really good example of that kind of filling that spiritual need. So how do we apply this in our lives? That's where it can be tricky. We're like, this is Jesus' statement. He says, I am this. How do I apply that to my life? Well, if you are a Christian and you have that need met in your life, like I was sharing before, the world is interested in spiritual things. We might think that they're not and that they just want to do their own thing. There is a longing there for that to be filled. And we know the only thing that fills it is Jesus. So learn how to share your faith. Learn how to share your testimony and share what Jesus has done in your life, how he's filled that spiritual void, how you don't hunger like that anymore. If you want to learn how to share your testimony, there's a great opportunity coming up in Albuquerque. We're going to be doing a live stream from our studio, I believe, coming up in a couple weeks on Halloween, so you can learn how to share your testimony. I'll also link the 1-minute witness training above too, so you can check that out as well. So this is the first in our series. I hope you'll stick with me. There's 6 more to go, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.